Don't invest your money in these home trends. Let me explain. Hello and welcome back to the House of Valentina. So this entire conversation started when I got an article in from realtor.com, and the article is all about trends that are here to stay. And that actually came from an article written by House. So a couple clicks later, and I'm reading all about trends that are here to stay. And some of them are trends I personally wouldn't invest my money in, and some of them I think are awesome. So let's dive into which ones we would definitely not invest our money into and which ones we definitely would. So one of the trends that is trending up right now, according to House, they say that this is up 245% in regards to the modern bedroom. In regard to the modern dining room, it is up 146%, 97% for the kitchen, 76% for the bathroom, and 66% for the living room. And that is organic modern. That search term is up that high for all those different spaces in the home. I personally am very excited to hear that that is search terms that people are still looking for, because personally, I think that this is one of the trends that is definitely here to stay and you should be investing your money into. The reason why is because a lot of people left and are leaving the modern farmhouse movement. They're not selling their modern farmhouses, but they're wanting them to have a little bit more of an organic modern feel. So the great thing about this style is that it can be incorporated into just about any architectural style. You can include this in a more traditional home. You can include it in a more modern home. If you've got a modern farmhouse, this works. It's really all about using organic, natural materials and finishes. We've talked extensively about this on our channel, and I will leave a few of the videos linked down below for you so you can check them out. But basically, it is actually a really amazing idea, and it's not about an architectural style, although it tends to be a little bit more modern. It's really all about this softer color palette and softer colors, and that is why I think that this is one you definitely want to invest your money into, because it's really just getting kind of started. It really is, and it's here to stay. This is a trend that's not here for a week or a month or a year. It's a decade-driven style that we're going to be seeing it for a long time. We've got dark and moody, and you guys know I am so into this. I'm so excited about it. According to House, search is up 130% for the moody living room, 102% for the moody kitchen, 85% for the moody bedroom, 60% up for the dark ceiling, 57% up for dark and moody offices, hallelujah, and 49% up for the dark and moody powder room. You guys know that this is my love and my passion. I love dark and moody rooms. I mean, we're sitting in one of them. I've done this in my powder room as well. I really love dark and moody rooms. I've even done a dark and moody bedroom for a while. Stay tuned. I might be up to something in there. We'll see what I end up doing next. But the thing is that I think that dark and moody is just such a fun play. And what I love is that you don't have to do it throughout your entire house. And that's why I think this is something that really appeals to so many people, because you can have the office, you can have the dining room, you can have the bedroom or a powder room, and you can have a space of your home that you want to make feel really cozy. For me, this room is in Hematite by Bear, by the way, because you guys always ask that. And iron ore is another really good one if you're wanting to do another dark color. But I think that the reason it works is because you just feel enveloped in the color, and it can make the space actually feel quite grand. Especially for me, having a higher ceiling in this room, it's a play that I just really like. When it comes to living spaces, I tend to see that people, for their family rooms, I haven't seen as many moody kitchens, to be honest with you. I do love them. I really love them. I think on Pinterest you can find so much inspiration for each of these different styles, but particularly for that moodiness, it's not as on trend, I don't think. And if you're definitely thinking about selling your house, I would definitely not do a dark and moody kitchen. It's my experience that people in general really don't like dark and moody kitchens. They like light and bright kitchens. That trend could change, I don't know, at some point, but I think it's gonna be here for a while that people prefer light and airy kitchens. I am so excited to take just a moment and give a shout out to our video sponsor, which is Half Day. Half Day is an incredible tea drink that is actually really amazing for several reasons. Teas are a big deal, and I don't know about you, but I grew up with some really great brands and we just love to indulge in a tea. I'm just horrified by the sugar and the calories in the teas that we all, like those brands that we really know and love. So when Half Day reached out to me, I was thrilled. There's a few reasons. First of all, calorie count on this, 30. Carbohydrates is 12, 8 of which are dietary fibers, and there's a total amount of 3 grams of sugar in this. So this is good for your gut. It's only got 3 grams of sugar. It's a prebiotic iced tea, which is unbelievable. The flavor is so good. We have a really big stash now at our house, but I wanted to see where they were available locally so I could share with you where to find them, okay? So let me take you to Kroger for just a moment. We are at Kroger, and as you can see, we are on aisle 12 with the bottled teas. I found them. Come on. This is so much fun. Up here, we've got them. We've got the raspberry, the lemon, and the peach. So we're gonna get some extras here. They even happen to be on sale today. So it's just so fun. We get to see them here at Kroger. So definitely check out your local Kroger because they're gonna have them on the shelf in the tea aisle. So this peach one and a couple extra raspberries. These are all really good. Lemon, I'm gonna need a cart. All right, well, that was a fun outing. So Half Day wants to give you a free can of their drink to try. So all you have to do is go to your local Kroger, grab yourself a can of Half Day, then go to the link I have listed down below in the show notes, enter in your receipt information, and they will pay you back. It's super simple, and I think you guys are gonna love it. So you'll have to let me know down below which of the flavors is your favorite because I'm having a really hard time deciding. They're all so good. Thank you again to Half Day for being our video sponsor. All right, next up, we've got the reading rooms. 219% increase in search for the dark academia. 157% up for the snug, which is kind of like a British word for like a cozy kind of like a family room, or you would just get kind of cozy. Book Nook is up 69%, Library Wall is up 61%, and Reading Corner is up 45%. So clearly we are a generation that's having a little bit of a swing towards retro times. We're starting to just kind of miss the smell of paper and the feel of it in our hands. Why not go for it? If you are a person that wants a place to sit and read, or even just to update Instagram or scroll through Instagram, that's what I say. I call it like the Instagram corner rather than the reading corner. Most of us just want a spot to sit quietly and look through our Instagrams and check out a reel, maybe TikTok, watch an Amazon Live, right? Like we want a little corner that's just for us. Whether you want to sit and have a fiction book in your hand or you want a different activity, either way, I still think that the entire idea of this is good. And I would definitely invest my money into it myself. I just don't personally have the room for it in my own house. So let me know how you guys feel about this one based off of your feedback when we talked about IKEA. And I said, oh, like the overstuffed look of all those bookshelves just kind of is cringy for me. Like a lot of you fought back, and I so get it. I really do. I've always been an avid reader, but I'm just not in a place right now where I want to sit and read fiction. Like I just can't get into it. So maybe I just need the right book. Maybe if you're really one of these book people, let me know what your book recommendations are, and then we can chat about it some more. Very interestingly, Japandi style has been crazy in, especially on Pinterest and especially with the modern, more contemporary style homes. Now here, House is saying that search is up 48% for the Japandi living room, 44% for wabi sabi, 33% for the Japanese kitchen, 25% for the Japanese bedroom, 22% for the Zen garden, and 20% for the Japanese bathroom. I actually found those numbers very telling that actually Japandi style may actually be on the way out. Those are definite increases, but they're nothing compared to the other ones. And I really think the problem with Japandi style is that it's one of those like fantasy styles. I am notorious for doing this, okay? It's kind of like the book room for me. I tend to like to fantasize about like rooms that I would like to have. And then when the reality comes and I go to actually invest my money into something, I'm like, that actually doesn't work in my house. And so I think that's where the catch is with Japandi style. Because if you have a really modern house, this style can very easily work with the architecture of your home. But if you're like me and you happen to be in a more cottage style home and something a little bit more traditional, that Japandi style, it just kind of doesn't really work all that well in homes like ours. So I think that's why when it comes to actually including it into our spaces, we tend to push back a little bit because it doesn't feel quite right. So as you think about the Japandi style, I mean, I love the Japanese inspiration. I love the idealism of it. I love, of course, Scandinavian style. If I was to do this style in my fantasy world, I would have a very modern home that I would be putting it into, and I would love that. That's what I'm saying. I'm not against this style. I actually love it. I love it. However, it just doesn't work as well in my current home. And so I think that's how you need to look at these things. I think this is how you need to look at each and every one of these trends. Don't just assume that because it's on trend that you should be doing it in your house. Think about the architectural style that you have and whether these styles blend well with it. And if you can say yes and you love it, then why would you not be investing your money into it, right? It's very likely that someone else will enjoy it too. But I do think that it needs to work with the style house that you already have. Wellness is still on the rise, and we talked about this actually when we did the Pinterest video. Do you guys remember the Pinterest trend video? That's a really good one too, if you haven't seen that one. The increase of cold plunge pools, oh, no thank you. The indoor sauna, large windows, yes, that's up 41% for large windows. A home spa is up 34%. The backyard sauna is up 30%, and skylights are up 27%. The cold plunge for 74%, that being up 74%, and the indoor sauna is up 69%. I personally I wouldn't invest my money into these things. They're too trendy. And how many people actually want to plunge themselves into cold water? So if it's for wellness and for a medical reason for yourself, I think that is well spent money, of course, for your own wellness. But don't invest your money into it if you're doing it because it's on trend and you think it's gonna make your house sell better. It probably won't make the house sell better. You probably won't see a return on the money, but you'll see a return in your wellness, and therefore it's worth it if you're one of those people, right, that needs it for a medical reason. But if you're just doing it just because it's cool and it looked fun on Pinterest or on Houzz, I would not do that. I would not invest my money into it. Now, as far as larger windows, yes, 100%, you'll never lose when you add more light into your home, unless you just have a really bad view. I mean, getting to see outside is such a good health benefit. And it's always been something that increased the price of your home. It's always been something that was very expensive. And if you've ever looked at trying to put windows in, you know putting windows in is very expensive. Even still, it's such an investment. I do think that it is worth it. Is it worth it to spend, I got a quote on my house, and it was $175,000. And this was not even the upgraded window, okay? And I'm like, that is like more than a quarter of the price of what we paid for the house. I don't know that I would ever see the return on that. So I'm kind of at a stalemate here. I haven't made a decision because I'm like, I know windows are expensive, but when you get the quote, you really feel this one. And people always say, like, is it worth the money? And I'm always like, oh, that is so hard. It depends on the price of your house. It depends on the window itself, right? Like, are you doing it because your windows are leaking? Because then you kind of need to do it, right? Or are you just doing it for aesthetic purposes? There's a lot of things to consider when you're investing in windows. I do think, just generally speaking, going bigger is just gonna benefit you. But weigh out whether you can afford it, weigh out whether, if you're gonna be upgrading and making bigger windows, if it's a good investment for your home in particular. But either way, I think that adding more light in your space, it's something we talk about all the time on this channel, and how it increases the feeling of luxury in your home. And if you want a quick fix, I always say just take the blinds down off of your windows and bring in the light that you already have. That is a very quick fix if you want something that is free. Leisure spaces. Leisure spaces, 107% increase in search for listening rooms, 39% up for a living room with a piano, 23% up for bocce courts, 18% up for the bowling alley, and 16% up for the game room. Okay, so according to AD, the listening rooms are the next big thing in interiors. They are a dedicated space for listening to vinyls. Increase is for people who are wanting to actually sit in their rooms and listen to music on vinyls. That is really, really interesting. There is not a single part of me that is even remotely interested in that. I'm just not there. That's just, for me, I'm like, I would be bored to death. I'm a person that just likes doing things, and for me, I just don't think that's something I would personally ever invest my money into. The piano room, yes. A music room, yes. I think that I really, really wish that we could go back to investing more into the arts. And so if that would be, for you, include records, I say go for it. But personally, I'm just not that interested in it. However, a piano room or a music room, I think is incredible. I really do. The outdoor spaces, when you think about like bocce ball and basketball, those are kind of like fantasy things a lot of times. They're not necessarily the best use of your space, because you can play bocce ball just on your grass. Like, I don't know if personally I would try to put like a bocce ball court in. I'm not opposed to it. Like, if you have a really big yard and you could have one like off to the side, I just wouldn't make it the centerpiece of your backyard. But for us, we just buy the little bocce ball sets. We bought ours off of Amazon, and we love to play it with the kids, and we just play it in the grass. So for me, I'm not gonna spend my money on any of those. I just would not put a basketball court in. Our neighborhood has them, so I'm not gonna spend my money on it. I think you have to weigh out, like, if you have a kid that's like an all-star, I don't know, bocce player or maybe basketball player, this might be good money for you because it's an investment in your kid or yourself if you're gonna be playing. But generally speaking, I would say that these types of leisure spaces aren't really what I would have said that people really want right now. They just want more like fire pit areas, fireplaces. They want outdoor spaces where you can really lounge and spend a good quality time with your family. That, I would say, is definitely in, and I would invest my money into it. It is expensive. It is expensive to have this work done, and I think it can be, okay, speaking from someone who's been looking into that, I can tell you it's stressful. Because you're like, that again is too much money for the price of the home. I will never see that money back. So you have to ask yourself, am I going to enjoy it enough to make it worth it for myself, to over-invest essentially in my outdoor space? Or do I want to just pare it back a little bit and do something really simple that just gives me the space that I need to enjoy? Let me know how you guys feel about these trends. I know some are crazy good and some I am just gonna give a hard pass. Let me know how you feel about each of these down in the comments. If you just want to write each of the trends, yes, no, and then thoughts. I love hearing your thoughts about the trends because I learned so much from you guys. And where you're from also helps too, because if you're living in New York, your priorities might be so different from somebody living in Montana, right? Like it just depends on where you live, how relevant these trends are going to be to you and what your priorities are as well. So let me know down in the comments. Also make sure to check out our trends playlist. It's packed with lots of ideas and lots of trend information so that you know where to invest your money and where to pass. So I hope you'll enjoy that. Hit subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, bye-bye.